Have you ever found yourself wanting something, dreaming about success, happiness, or achievement, but feeling like it's just out of reach? You push forward, work hard, but no matter what, it seems like life is pulling you in different directions, leaving you feeling unfulfilled or stuck. You're not alone. It happens to all of us at some point. But here's the truth. Success, fulfillment, and the ability to make things happen in your life aren't just about hard work or wishful thinking. There's a Stoic secret to achieving your goals that has been passed down for centuries, and it's not a flashy hack or a shortcut. It's a mindset, a way of living that empowers you to navigate challenges, stay grounded, and most importantly, take control of your life. In today's episode, we're going to explore the Stoic secrets to making things happen for you. Stoicism teaches us that real power comes from mastering ourselves, aligning with reality, and focusing on what we can control. By adopting these principles, you can stop waiting for things to change and start creating the life you want step by step. But before we dive into the 15 Stoic habits that can help you take control and make things happen, let's start by reflecting on how ancient wisdom can help us thrive in today's fast-paced world. How can we stay grounded, focused, and resilient no matter what life throws our way? Join me as we explore these Stoic secrets and learn how to unlock the power within you to create meaningful change in your life, starting today. 1. Master inner peace. Ataraxia. Stay unshaken. Have you ever faced a situation that completely threw you off balance? Maybe it was a disagreement, an unexpected change, or a stressful deadline. In those moments, it's easy to get swept up in the chaos, to let your emotions take over, and to feel overwhelmed by external circumstances. But here's a Stoic secret. The calmer you are, the more power you have over your actions and reactions. The Stoic concept of ataraxia refers to a state of inner peace and tranquility, unaffected by external events. This concept teaches us that true strength comes from the ability to remain unshaken by the external world. When you master inner peace, you are no longer at the mercy of stress, anxiety, or the turbulence of daily life. You become more centered, more focused, and ultimately more resilient. Imagine for a moment that you're facing a stressful situation, perhaps a difficult conversation with a colleague, an impending deadline, or a personal challenge. The typical response would be to feel anxiety, frustration, or even panic. However, by practicing ataraxia, you can create space between the event and your reaction. Instead of being emotionally hijacked by the situation, you pause, breathe, and choose to respond with calmness and clarity. Ataraxia is not about ignoring your emotions or suppressing your feelings. Instead, it's about recognizing that your emotional responses are within your control, even if the external situation is not. When you remain calm in the face of adversity, you not only preserve your peace of mind, but you also gain the mental clarity needed to make better decisions. Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, frequently practiced ataraxia. In his meditations, he often reminded himself to stay calm and collected no matter what the day brought him. He wrote, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." In essence, our emotional state is determined not by what happens to us, but by how we choose to interpret and respond to it. The power of mastering inner peace is that it allows you to regain control over your emotions. Instead of reacting impulsively or letting the world dictate how you feel, you make a conscious choice to stay unshaken, no matter the circumstances. It's the foundation for making thoughtful decisions, maintaining resilience, and creating the mental clarity necessary to move forward with purpose. So how do you start mastering ataraxia? The key is mindfulness. Whenever you're faced with a situation that triggers strong emotions, take a step back, breathe deeply, observe your feelings, and then choose your response with intention. Don't react immediately. Use that pause to connect with your inner calm and act from a place of strength. Over time, this practice will help you navigate even the most chaotic situations with peace and composure. Mastering ataraxia is about building emotional resilience and learning that peace comes from within, not from external circumstances. The more you practice it, the stronger you'll become in facing whatever life throws your way. 2. Embrace your fate. Amor Fati. Work with life, not against it. How often do we resist life's challenges, wishing things were different or fighting against the hand we've been dealt? It's natural to feel frustrated when life doesn't go according to plan, when you face a setback, experience disappointment, or encounter the unexpected. But here's the Stoic secret. Instead of resisting life, embrace it. Embrace your fate, Amor Fati, and see every experience, good or bad, as a stepping stone for growth. The concept of Amor Fati, or love of fate, teaches us to not only accept what happens, but to love it, because it is all part of the unfolding of our lives. It's about finding meaning and growth in every situation, whether it aligns with our desires or challenges us in ways we didn't expect. The Stoics understood that the only thing we truly have control over is how we respond to life. And Amor Fati is a powerful tool for cultivating resilience and acceptance in the face of difficulty. Think about the last time something didn't go as planned. Perhaps a job opportunity fell through, a relationship ended, or an unexpected event threw you off course. In those moments, it's easy to feel frustrated, angry, or even hopeless. But Amor Fati invites you to shift your mindset. Instead of focusing on what went wrong or wishing things were different, embrace the situation as part of your journey. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this? How can I use this experience to grow stronger or wiser? By embracing your fate, you stop resisting what's happening and begin working with it. You see setbacks not as defeats, but as opportunities for growth. Life is constantly changing, and when we fight against the natural flow of things, we exhaust ourselves. However, when we accept and work with what life brings us, we can remain centered and resilient. We stop wasting energy on resistance and instead channel that energy into moving forward with clarity and purpose. The Stoics believed that everything that happens, no matter how difficult, is an opportunity for growth. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, often reflected on this idea. He wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." This is the essence of Amor Fati. Whatever obstacles or challenges life presents, they are not in our way, they are the way. They are the lessons, the catalysts for personal growth, and the opportunities that shape our character and our future. This mindset doesn't mean passively accepting everything that happens to you, but rather actively engaging with the present moment, finding meaning in adversity, and choosing to grow from every experience. When you embrace your fate, you stop looking for a way out of your struggles and instead find strength within them. You learn that your path is defined not by external circumstances, but by your response to those circumstances. So how can you embrace Amor Fati in your own life? Start by shifting your perspective when things don't go as planned. Instead of resisting, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? How can this challenge make me stronger? Every experience, whether it brings joy or pain, is an opportunity to align more deeply with your purpose, values, and goals. By loving your fate, you open yourself to greater resilience and strength, and you allow life to unfold as it should, rather than fighting against it. 3. Focus only on what you can control. How often do we waste time and energy fixating on things that are beyond our control? It's easy to get caught in the endless cycle of worry about other people's actions, the unpredictability of life, and external circumstances that seem out of reach. But here's the Stoic secret. True power lies in focusing only on what you can control. In life, we cannot control everything. We can't control the weather, other people's choices, or the outcomes of certain situations. However, we always have control over how we respond to these things. The Stoics believed that by focusing on what is within our control, our thoughts, actions, and mindset, we gain true freedom and peace of mind. Think about the times you felt overwhelmed or frustrated by something that was out of your control. Perhaps it was a work project that didn't go as planned, a conversation that didn't go the way you expected, or an event that didn't unfold as you hoped. How much energy did you spend focusing on those things? Probably a lot, and it likely didn't help you in any way. The Stoic approach, however, invites us to shift our energy toward what we can influence. Our responses, our attitude, our efforts. By redirecting our focus away from external events and toward our internal reactions, we regain control. We stop giving away our emotional power to situations and people who do not deserve it. Epictetus, a Stoic philosopher, said it best. It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. This insight is the key to Stoic resilience. When you focus on how you respond to a situation, you stop letting external circumstances dictate your emotional state. You stop feeling powerless because you recognize that your responses are the only things you truly control. Let's break it down. You can't control what your boss thinks of your performance, but you can control your effort, your focus, and your attitude toward the work you do. You can't control the actions of others, but you can control how you react to their behavior. Instead of getting upset or frustrated when things don't go as planned, you can choose to remain calm and assess the situation rationally. Focusing on what you can control is liberating. It means releasing the mental and emotional burden of trying to control everything and instead giving your full attention to the things that you can influence. It helps you build emotional resilience because it gives you the strength to remain grounded regardless of external chaos. To apply this Stoic principle, start by identifying what's within your control each day. Make a mental note of the things that are in your hands, your choices, actions, mindset, and direct your energy toward those. Stop wasting time on things outside of your control and watch how much more empowered and at peace you feel. When you focus only on what you can control, you'll begin to make things happen, not because you're trying to control everything, but because you're investing your energy where it truly matters. 4. Live with purpose and excellence. Arete, be your best self. Have you ever had a day where you felt like you were simply going through the motions, doing things just to check them off a list, but never truly feeling fulfilled or proud of your efforts? It's easy to fall into this trap, especially when we get caught up in the demands of life. We often focus on getting things done, but forget the most important part, doing things with purpose and excellence. The fourth habit for making things happen is to live with purpose and excellence. The Stoics, particularly the philosopher Aristotle, emphasized the concept of arete, which means living up to your full potential by consistently striving to be your best self in everything you do. This isn't about perfection. Arete is about focusing on the highest standards, doing everything with integrity, and pursuing excellence in every action, no matter how big or small. When you live with purpose, you don't just go through the motions. You choose how to show up, what you care about, and where you put your energy. Living with purpose means aligning your actions with your deepest values so that every effort, every decision, and every goal contributes to your overall vision of who you want to be and what you want to achieve. Think about it. How often do we give in to mediocrity? We're sometimes content with just good enough because it's easier than pushing ourselves toward excellence. But this attitude can leave us feeling unsatisfied and drained, as we know we're not living up to our true potential. On the other hand, when we choose excellence, we bring our best selves to everything we do. Whether you're working on a project, building relationships, or taking care of your health, arete means that you're giving your best effort, not for approval or external rewards, but because it aligns with your purpose and values. Excellence in the Stoic sense doesn't mean being flawless. It means being authentic, striving to improve, and doing your best in the circumstances you're in. By embracing arete, you also stop focusing solely on the outcome. The Stoics knew that true satisfaction comes not from achieving external success, but from being fully present and committed to the process. When you focus on doing your best, regardless of the external result, you give yourself the freedom to pursue your goals with integrity and pride. The outcome will naturally follow when you focus on the quality of your actions. The Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The perfection of character is in the harmony between your mind and actions." This means that when you are aligned with your purpose, your thoughts and actions become an integrated force, creating both success and satisfaction. By pursuing excellence in all areas of your life, you begin to see not just the results, but also the growth that comes from striving for your highest potential. So how can you apply arete to your life today? Start by identifying the areas where you can raise your standards, whether it's in your work, personal relationships, or self-care routines. Commit to excellence in the small things. Don't just focus on the end result. Focus on the effort, the intention, and the quality of everything you do. When you live with purpose and excellence, you start to make things happen, not because you're striving for perfection, but because you're consistently showing up as the best version of yourself. And that's where true success is born. 5. Prepare for challenges. Premeditatio Malorum, expect the unexpected. How often have you gone through your day only to be blindsided by something you didn't expect? A sudden problem at work, an unexpected obstacle in your personal life, or an emotional setback that throws you off course. The truth is, life is unpredictable, and no matter how much we plan, challenges are inevitable. But here's the Stoic secret to making things happen. Prepare for challenges in advance, and you'll be ready to face whatever comes your way. The Stoic practice of Premeditatio Malorum, or the premeditation of evils, teaches us to mentally prepare for obstacles before they arise. Instead of being caught off guard or overwhelmed by setbacks, we anticipate them and think through how we would respond. By doing this, we build emotional resilience and the mental clarity needed to handle difficulties calmly and strategically. It might sound counterintuitive at first. Why would you spend time thinking about challenges and setbacks? Wouldn't that make you anxious or focused on negative outcomes? But Premeditatio Malorum isn't about dwelling on worst-case scenarios. It's about mentally preparing yourself to face difficulties with a sense of control without being overwhelmed by fear or surprise. When you've already thought through how you might respond, the actual challenge becomes less intimidating and you can handle it with confidence and composure. The Stoics believed that we can't control the external events in our lives, but we can control how we prepare for them and how we respond when they come. Marcus Aurelius often practiced Premeditatio Malorum in his daily reflections. He would imagine the challenges he might face as emperor, whether it was conflict, criticism, or difficult decisions, and prepare himself mentally to meet those challenges with virtue, wisdom, and calm. By anticipating difficulties, he was ready to face them with clarity, no matter how unexpected. For example, before facing a tough day or a major challenge, take a few minutes to think about what might go wrong. What challenges could you face? How might you react? What is within your control to improve the situation? This kind of mental preparation helps you to stay calm when something goes wrong, because you've already considered the possibility and planned your response. Instead of reacting emotionally or being overwhelmed, you're ready to respond strategically and keep moving forward. This practice doesn't mean you should become paranoid or dwell on every potential problem. It's about being realistic and acknowledging that challenges are part of life. The more you mentally prepare, the more you're able to embrace difficulties as part of your journey, rather than viewing them as obstacles. By anticipating the unexpected, you build resilience and are ready to handle whatever comes your way. So the next time you're preparing for a day or a task, take a moment to reflect. What challenges might arise today? How can I prepare myself to face them with grace and composure? By practicing Premeditatio Malorum, you empower yourself to handle life's inevitable obstacles with confidence, transforming challenges into opportunities for growth. 6. Master self-control. Enkrateia. Discipline is freedom. Have you ever found yourself reacting impulsively, whether it's overreacting in anger, indulging in unhealthy habits, or spending your time on things that don't align with your goals? It's all too easy to let our emotions, desires, and impulses dictate our behavior. The truth is, discipline isn't about restriction, it's about freedom. By mastering Enkrateia or self-control, you gain the freedom to choose how you respond, how you spend your time, and how you shape your life. The Stoic concept of Enkrateia is the practice of self-mastery, especially when it comes to controlling our impulses and desires. It teaches us that true freedom comes from being able to exercise control over our thoughts, actions, and reactions, rather than being at the mercy of our immediate wants and emotions. When we exercise self-control, we take command of our lives, rather than letting our impulses or distractions run the show. Think about how many times you've acted without thinking, driven by immediate desires or emotions. Maybe you've given in to procrastination, overindulged in unhealthy habits, or let your anger get the best of you in a difficult conversation. These moments of losing control are often followed by regret, frustration, or a sense of being off track. But self-control is the antidote to these feelings. When you master Enkrateia, you can break the cycle of impulsive reactions and instead make intentional choices that align with your values and goals. The Stoics, like Epictetus, understood that true power lies not in being able to do whatever we want, but in the ability to choose wisely what we will do. Epictetus said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." This freedom comes from the discipline of self-control, being able to say no to short-term temptations in favor of long-term goals. Self-control allows us to stop reacting impulsively and start responding thoughtfully based on our values and our larger purpose. So how can you begin to practice Enkrateia in your own life? Start by observing where you lack self-control. Is it in your eating habits, your spending habits, your reactions to stress or frustration? The first step is awareness, understanding where you tend to lose control. Once you've identified those areas, practice making small, intentional choices. For example, if you're tempted to check your phone when you should be focusing on a task, take a moment to pause and remind yourself of your bigger goal. If you're tempted to react with anger, take a deep breath and choose a calm response. Self-control is a skill that strengthens with practice. The more you exercise it, the more it becomes second nature. With Enkrateia, you don't just gain control over your actions, you gain the freedom to choose what truly serves you, what aligns with your goals, and what brings you peace of mind. By mastering self-control, you're also building emotional resilience. When you can control your impulses, you free yourself from the chaos of uncontrolled emotions and external distractions. You create space for clarity, for thoughtful decisions, and for the kind of purposeful living that leads to true freedom. So today, take a moment to reflect on where you can begin exercising Enkrateia. What impulses or desires can you control to move closer to your goals? By building this discipline, you're not only shaping your actions, you're shaping the future you want to create. 7. Stay present. Proche. The future is built now. How many times have you caught yourself obsessing over future goals, worrying about what's ahead, or stressing over what might go wrong? It's easy to get consumed by thoughts of the future, dreaming of success, fearing failure, or constantly planning for what's next. But here's the Stoic secret. The future is created in the present moment. The seventh Stoic habit to making things happen is to stay present, to focus on the now, and recognize that every action we take today is shaping our tomorrow. Proche, the Stoic practice of being present and mindful, reminds us that the key to achieving anything is not in constantly looking ahead, but in fully engaging with the present moment. The future is built one present moment at a time. The Stoics taught that while we can plan for the future, we should never become overly preoccupied with it. Our thoughts about the future can create anxiety, making us feel like we're not ready or that we have too many obstacles in our way. But this constant mental wandering keeps us from taking the most important step, acting right now in the present moment. Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic emperor, repeatedly emphasized the importance of living in the present. He wrote in his Meditations, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." This wisdom highlights the fact that we cannot control what happens tomorrow, but we can control how we engage with today. By staying present, you are able to focus on what's within your control, avoiding the distractions of worry or fear. It's easy to get caught up in the what-ifs of life, but Proche teaches us to bring our focus back to what is happening right now. When you engage fully with the task or moment at hand, you can pour your energy into creating positive outcomes for the future, rather than getting lost in stress or indecision. Proche. Calm practicing crochet doesn't just improve productivity, it also reduces anxiety. When we focus on the present, we become less overwhelmed by the unknown. The fear of the future starts to lose its grip because we recognize that the only time we truly have is the present. One way to practice this is through mindfulness. Before diving into your day, take a moment to check in with yourself. Are your thoughts drifting towards something you can't control? If so, gently bring your focus back to the present task. Be aware of your thoughts, your surroundings, and your actions. By doing so, you train your mind to be fully present, which strengthens your emotional resilience. So start today. Embrace the present moment. Focus on the task at hand. Engage with the people around you and experience each moment fully. As you do, you'll find that the future begins to take shape naturally through the actions and choices you make right now. 8. Strength in community. No one succeeds alone. We often hear the phrase self-made, but the truth is, no one truly achieves success entirely on their own. Life is a series of interconnected experiences, and our growth is often influenced by the relationships we build and the community we surround ourselves with. Stoicism teaches us that strength comes not just from within, but also from the connections we form and the support we offer others. The 8th habit for making things happen is to recognize the strength in community. We are social beings, and our interactions, relationships, and networks play a vital role in our growth and success. Stoic philosophy teaches that no man is an island, and that success is rarely achieved in isolation. By cultivating meaningful connections, offering support, and uplifting others, we align ourselves with a greater purpose, and in turn, the opportunities, support, and strength we need will come back to us. Think about the times in your life when you've been able to achieve something significant. Chances are you weren't alone, whether it was a mentor guiding you, a friend offering encouragement, or a team working together toward a common goal. Collaboration and support often make the journey easier and more fulfilling. The Stoics, while advocating for self-reliance, also recognized the importance of community. Marcus Aurelius often reflected on his duty to serve others, understanding that the welfare of the whole community impacts his own well-being. As he wrote in his Meditations, what is not good for the beehive cannot be good for the bees. In other words, the success of one is interconnected with the success of the group. By supporting and caring for others, we not only help them, but also ourselves. Building a community that uplifts you and helps you move forward is a crucial part of making things happen. When you surround yourself with like-minded individuals who share your values, you create an environment of growth, encouragement, and mutual support. Whether it's through your personal relationships, professional networks, or the communities you're a part of, strength is found in collaboration and mutual respect. This doesn't mean relying on others to do the work for you. It means understanding that the people around you can provide the motivation, feedback, and support you need to push forward. A strong community offers the collective wisdom, accountability, and emotional support to help you succeed, and in turn, your efforts contribute to the collective strength of the group. So how do you begin building this kind of supportive community? Start by offering support to others. Reach out to those around you, share your knowledge, and contribute to others' success. As you build a network of trust, respect, and mutual benefit, you will find that your own growth becomes intertwined with theirs, and together you'll all move forward with greater strength and clarity. Remember, success is not a solitary journey. Embrace the strength in community and watch as your collective efforts make the journey easier, more fulfilling, and more successful for everyone involved. 9. Balance and moderation. Avoid extremes. In a world that often celebrates extremes, whether it's in work, leisure, or personal habits, it's easy to fall into the trap of more is better. We may push ourselves to work harder, longer, and faster, believing that the more effort we put in, the more we'll achieve. On the flip side, we may indulge in excess to compensate for stress, boredom, or dissatisfaction, but here's the Stoic truth: balance and moderation are key to maintaining emotional and mental strength. The 9th habit for making things happen is practicing balance and moderation in all areas of your life. The Stoics understood that excess, whether it's in work, pleasure, or any other part of life, leads to imbalance, stress, and eventual burnout. True strength doesn't come from extremes. It comes from living a balanced life that allows you to pursue your goals while maintaining peace, focus, and well-being. Think about how often we chase after extremes in our lives. We work ourselves to exhaustion, believing that more hours means more success. Or we indulge in excess, overeating, overspending, or overindulging in distractions, believing that these things will bring us satisfaction. But in reality, these extremes drain our energy, disrupt our focus, and ultimately take us further away from our goals. The Stoics believed in the principle of moderation. They understood that the key to emotional strength and success lies in maintaining balance, doing everything in its right measure without overindulgence or excess. This concept is rooted in the idea that true contentment comes not from accumulation, but from the ability to live simply and intentionally. Epictetus once said, "Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants." This wisdom highlights the importance of simplifying our lives and avoiding the trap of chasing after more than we truly need. By practicing moderation, you create space for consistency, focus, and mental clarity. Instead of exhausting yourself with endless striving or giving into indulgence, you create a sustainable rhythm that allows you to pursue your goals without burning out. You take the time to rest, recharge, and maintain your energy so that you can perform at your best consistently day in and day out. The key to balance is recognizing that everything has its place: work, rest, productivity, relaxation. and each of these needs to be honored without tipping into excess. When you overwork, you burn out. When you overindulge, you feel guilty or sluggish. But when you find balance, you are able to bring your best self to everything you do and still maintain your mental and emotional well-being. So how do you start practicing balance and moderation? Begin by recognizing areas of your life where you tend to overdo it. Whether it's work, food, social media, or something else, start setting boundaries for yourself. Give yourself time to rest. Ensure that you're prioritizing the things that truly matter, while also allowing space for relaxation and rejuvenation. By embracing balance, you'll find that you not only achieve more, but you do so with greater peace and energy. Remember, the middle path is often the strongest path. Embrace moderation and let it guide you toward a more sustainable, fulfilling way of living. 10. Memento Mori. Act like time is running out. How many times have you put something off, thinking you'll get to it tomorrow or there's plenty of time ahead? We all tend to procrastinate, assuming that we have endless time to accomplish our goals, fix our mistakes, or pursue our passions. But here's the truth: time is precious, and we're never guaranteed more of it. The 10th habit for making things happen is to embrace the concept of memento mori. Remember that you will die. This isn't a morbid reflection, but a powerful reminder that our time on this earth is limited. The Stoics believed that by reflecting on our mortality, we are reminded of the urgency to live a life of purpose, to make every moment count, and to stop wasting time on things that don't truly matter. Memento Mori reminds us that time is our most valuable resource. Each day is an opportunity that should not be taken for granted. Yet how often do we delay taking action, thinking we have more time, only to realize later that the years have slipped by? The reality is that life can be unpredictable, and we often don't realize how quickly time passes until it's too late. Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic philosopher and Roman emperor, famously reflected on his own mortality in his Meditations. He wrote, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think." By acknowledging that life is short, we begin to approach each day with a sense of urgency and focus. We stop procrastinating and start living intentionally, making the most of every opportunity. Embracing memento mori isn't about dwelling on death in a negative way. It's about recognizing that time is limited, which gives us the motivation to act now. When we remember that life could end at any moment, we are inspired to pursue what truly matters. We take action, we push past our fears, and we stop waiting for the perfect moment to start making progress toward our goals. Every day is an opportunity to live with purpose, to take steps toward what we want to achieve, and to leave behind a legacy that matters. So how can you incorporate memento mori into your life today? Start by reflecting on your own mortality. Acknowledge that life is fleeting and use that knowledge to fuel your actions. Ask yourself, what do I want to accomplish today? What will I regret not doing? Let the awareness of time's passing motivate you to take immediate, purposeful action. When you live as if time is running out, you become more focused, more intentional, and more driven. You stop putting off the things that matter and start making things happen now. Memento Mori is a wake-up call, an invitation to live fully with urgency and purpose, knowing that every moment is a gift. Don't wait for tomorrow. Start today, because time is precious and you don't want to miss out on the opportunity to make your life count. 11. Gratitude as a power move. In a world where we are constantly striving for more success, more possessions, more validation, it's easy to overlook the incredible power of gratitude. We often focus on what we lack, what we don't have yet, or what we wish were different. But here's the Stoic secret. Gratitude is not only a way to acknowledge the good in our lives, it is a transformative force that attracts more of what we want. The 11th habit for making things happen is practicing gratitude as a power move. Gratitude is often seen as a passive emotion, but in Stoicism, it's a proactive tool for cultivating inner strength and attracting abundance. Gratitude, when we focus on the things we already have, we shift our mindset from scarcity to abundance, from frustration to peace. This shift doesn't just improve our emotional state, it enhances our ability to take action, to move forward, and to create the life we want. Think about it. When you focus on the things you lack, or what hasn't worked out yet, it's easy to feel stuck, dissatisfied, or discouraged. But when you shift your focus to the things you are grateful for, whether it's your health, your relationships, your experiences, or even the simple joys of everyday life, you begin to notice that you have more than enough. Gratitude grounds you in the present and allows you to see your life through a lens of abundance rather than one of deficiency. The Stoics understood the power of gratitude deeply. Marcus Aurelius, for example, made daily gratitude a part of his routine. In his meditations, he reflected on the many things he was grateful for, despite the immense challenges he faced as emperor. He wrote, "When you arise in the morning, think of what a privilege it is to be alive, to think, to enjoy, to love." Gratitude for the Stoics wasn't just about acknowledging the good, it was about reminding themselves of the privileges they had despite the challenges. It grounded them in the present moment and strengthened their resilience. Gratitude also works as a catalyst for action. When you recognize and appreciate the things you have, your skills, your relationships, your resources, it fuels you to take further action. Instead of focusing on the gaps or limitations in your life, you recognize the tools at your disposal and feel empowered to use them to create more success, more peace, and more joy. How can you make gratitude a power move in your life? Start by acknowledging 3 things you're grateful for each morning. These could be big, like your family or health, or small, like a moment of calm in the morning or a warm cup of coffee. Write them down or simply reflect on them before you begin your day. Notice how it shifts your energy and your mindset. You may find that your day unfolds with more clarity, positivity, and even opportunities you hadn't seen before. Gratitude isn't just a feel-good practice, it's a powerful tool for manifesting more of what you want in life. By acknowledging and appreciating the abundance you already have, you open yourself up to receiving even more. Gratitude strengthens your mindset, enriches your emotional resilience, and aligns your actions with your deeper desires. So today, practice gratitude as a power move. Recognize what you already have and use that recognition to fuel your actions and decisions. The more you focus on the positive, the more positivity you'll attract. And soon you'll find yourself making things happen, not because you wished for them, but because you took deliberate, grateful action. Own your role in life. How many times have you found yourself shirking responsibility, putting things off, or avoiding tasks because they felt too difficult or overwhelming? It's easy to want to avoid discomfort, to wait for the right moment, or to hope that someone else will step in and take charge. But here's the Stoic truth. Everything you do matters. Your actions, your decisions, and your responsibility are what shape the world around you. Own your role in life and success will follow. The 12th habit for making things happen is embracing your duty and responsibility. Stoicism teaches that life is not just about seeking pleasure or avoiding pain. It's about recognizing our duties and taking ownership of them. Whether it's our responsibilities in our career, family, relationships, or personal development, owning our role means acting with integrity and commitment, regardless of the obstacles that stand in our way. Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic emperor, constantly reminded himself of his duty to his people and his role in the world. He wrote in his meditations, "The best way to avenge yourself is to not be like that." By focusing on his duty, Marcus kept his mind fixed on what was in his control, his actions, his role, and his contributions to the greater good. Rather than being distracted by things outside of his control, he remained anchored in the responsibilities he had been entrusted with. When you embrace your duty and responsibility, you stop waiting for things to magically align or for external circumstances to change. Instead, you step up, take action, and fulfill your role with purpose and determination. This is the true path to empowerment. The more you take ownership of your responsibilities, the more control you gain over your own life. You stop being passive and become an active participant in your own success. This doesn't mean you have to take on the world or do everything yourself. It means that you acknowledge your part in the grand scheme of things and take pride in fulfilling it. Duty is about taking responsibility for your actions, regardless of how big or small they may seem. It's about owning your choices and decisions and following through on them, even when it feels hard. For example, if you're working on a project, don't wait for the perfect moment or for someone else to take charge. Own your responsibility to complete it with excellence, even if you face setbacks. If you're in a relationship, take responsibility for your role in building trust and understanding, even if it's uncomfortable at times. Every aspect of life is an opportunity to fulfill your duty, and by doing so, you move closer to achieving your goals and finding fulfillment. To implement this habit, start by identifying your duties in your life. What are the roles you need to embrace? What responsibilities have you been avoiding or putting off? Take one small step today to own that role and fulfill your duty. By doing so, you'll gain a sense of purpose, control, and strength. Because when you own your responsibilities, you take control of your destiny. Remember, success doesn't come from waiting for the perfect conditions. It comes from owning your role in life, fulfilling your duties, and taking deliberate action. 13. Universal connection. You're part of something bigger. In the hustle and bustle of daily life, it's easy to become consumed with our own challenges, ambitions, and problems. We often focus on our individual goals and desires, sometimes forgetting that we're part of something much larger. But here's the Stoic insight. 13. Universal connection. Everything we do is interconnected. We're all part of a greater whole, and our actions ripple out into the world in ways we might not always see. The 13th habit for making things happen is recognizing your universal connection, the understanding that your actions are connected to something bigger than yourself. Whether it's the people you interact with, the work you do, or the way you impact your community, every action you take contributes to the larger web of life. This awareness helps us realize that we are not isolated beings, but interconnected with others and with the world around us. The Stoics understood that we are part of a universal order. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, often reminded himself of the importance of aligning his actions with the greater good. He wrote, "What is not good for the hive cannot be good for the bee." This insight is about recognizing that when we act in harmony with the collective, we act in alignment with our true nature and purpose. By contributing to the well-being of others, we contribute to the well-being of ourselves. Think about it. When you help someone else, whether it's a colleague, a family member, or even a stranger, you're not just helping them in that moment. Your action creates a ripple effect, fostering goodwill and cooperation that can spread far beyond that individual. When you contribute to your community or take responsibility in your role at work, you're not only impacting those directly involved, but you're also contributing to the larger system that sustains everything around you. This doesn't mean that we should neglect our own personal growth or ambitions, but it does mean that we should always act with the awareness that we are part of something bigger. Every choice, every decision, every action we take can have an impact on others, and that impact can be positive or negative. By recognizing our interconnectedness, we begin to act with more integrity, responsibility, and consideration for the well-being of others. Universal connection also teaches us humility. When we realize that we are just one part of a much larger whole, we stop seeing ourselves as isolated or superior. Instead, we see our place in the world as part of a grander design, a design where our actions contribute to the collective good. This awareness helps us act with more compassion, empathy, and generosity, knowing that the energy we put into the world comes back to us in ways we might not fully understand. To incorporate this habit into your life, take a moment each day to reflect on how your actions contribute to the larger world around you. Ask yourself, how can I serve others today? How does my work contribute to the greater good? Whether it's helping a colleague, being present for a loved one, or making mindful choices that benefit the environment, always remember that your actions are part of the larger web of life. By embracing your universal connection, you stop thinking only about your individual success and start seeing your life as part of a larger mission. A mission that benefits not just yourself, but everyone around you. 14. Train your mind like an athlete. Your mindset determines what you achieve. We often spend hours training our bodies, improving our physical strength, endurance, and abilities. But what about the most important muscle of all, our mind? Just like an athlete dedicates time to physical training, the greatest achievers dedicate time to training their mindset. Your mindset shapes how you approach challenges, how you handle setbacks, and how you ultimately succeed. The 14th habit for making things happen is training your mind like an athlete. Stoicism teaches us that mental strength, like physical strength, is built through consistent practice, focus, and discipline. Your mind is your most powerful tool, and the more you invest in developing it, the greater your capacity to navigate life's challenges with confidence and resilience. Think about how athletes approach their training. They don't expect to perform at their best without putting in the work. Every day they train, pushing their limits and honing their skills. They know that achieving peak performance requires constant practice, focus, and dedication. The same goes for your mind. If you want to cultivate mental strength, resilience, and focus, you need to train your mind regularly. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, often reminded himself of the importance of mental discipline. He recognized that the quality of our thoughts directly impacts the quality of our lives. He wrote, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." Marcus Aurelius, in other words, the way you think, the way you interpret your circumstances, and the way you choose to respond to challenges directly affect your ability to succeed. By training your mind, you equip yourself to handle anything life throws at you with grace and wisdom. One way to start training your mind is through daily reflection and mindfulness. Just as an athlete works on their form, you can work on your mindset by focusing on your thoughts. Are they positive, focused, and aligned with your goals, or are they negative, reactive, and driven by emotion? When you become aware of your thought patterns, you can intentionally shift your mindset toward one that supports growth, resilience, and achievement. In addition to reflection, mental training can include practices like meditation, journaling, or mindfulness exercises. These practices help you develop focus, clarity, and emotional regulation. Skills that will serve you in every area of your life. Just as physical training increases your endurance, mental training increases your ability to stay calm under pressure, to make better decisions, and to persist through difficult times. Another powerful way to train your mind is to constantly challenge it. Put yourself in situations that push your mental limits, whether it's solving a complex problem, learning a new skill, or facing a personal challenge. Thanks for watching. Just like lifting weights makes your muscles stronger, mental challenges make your mind more resilient. The more you challenge your mind, the more capable it becomes. Ultimately, your mindset is the foundation of your success. When you train your mind with the same dedication that an athlete trains their body, you unlock your true potential. A strong mind allows you to face adversity with confidence, learn from setbacks, and continue moving forward toward your goals, no matter how difficult the journey may seem. So start today by committing to train your mind like an athlete. Dedicate time every day to strengthening your mental resilience, clarity, and focus. Over time, you'll find that your mindset becomes a powerful force that helps you make things happen, achieve your goals, and thrive, no matter the challenges you face. 15. Use logic over emotion. Logos. Make smart moves. How often do we find ourselves making decisions based on emotions, whether it's reacting out of anger, fear, frustration, or excitement? While emotions are natural and important, they don't always lead us to the best decisions. Emotional reactions can cloud our judgment, making us act impulsively and sometimes regret our choices later. The Stoics, however, believe that to truly take control of our lives and make things happen, we must prioritize logic. The 15th habit for making things happen is to use logic over emotion to guide your decisions and actions with reason, clarity, and wisdom, rather than being swept away by emotional impulses. This doesn't mean suppressing emotions or ignoring them. It means acknowledging them, but choosing not to let them dictate your behavior. Stoicism teaches us that logos, the power of reason, is what leads us to the most thoughtful and effective actions. Epictetus, a Stoic philosopher, often spoke about the importance of separating ourselves from our emotional reactions and applying reason in our decision-making. He said, "First say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do." This statement highlights the idea that our actions must be guided by our rational values and goals, not by fleeting emotions. Imagine a situation where you're faced with criticism, a setback, or an unexpected challenge. The natural emotional reaction might be to feel defensive, upset, or discouraged. But if you choose to respond with logos, with calm reasoning, then you can step back and assess the situation objectively. You'll be able to ask yourself, what is the best course of action here? What can I learn from this? How can I make the most of this challenge? The key to logos is not just about thinking logically in high-pressure situations, it's about training your mind to approach life with rationality and objectivity as a default mode. By practicing this, you avoid reacting to every emotional impulse that arises and instead make decisions that align with your long-term goals and values. This habit becomes especially important when you face obstacles. Instead of reacting with frustration or anger, apply logos to find practical solutions. Ask yourself, what's within my control? What is the most reasonable course of action? By doing this, you prevent emotions from taking over and become more capable of making smart, strategic decisions. Stoic philosophy also encourages us to see life's challenges with a rational perspective, recognizing that setbacks and difficulties are not personal attacks, but opportunities for growth and learning. When we approach adversity with reason, rather than allowing our emotions to overwhelm us, we develop resilience and clarity. So how can you apply this principle today? Start by recognizing when your emotions are taking over and consciously deciding to pause and think. Challenge yourself to approach decisions with a calm, clear mind, using logic to guide your actions. Whether it's responding to criticism, managing a difficult situation, or simply making daily decisions, choosing logos will help you make more informed, thoughtful moves. By training yourself to prioritize logic over emotion, you'll find that you make smarter decisions, experience less stress, and feel more in control of your outcomes. The more you embrace logos, the more you'll realize how powerful your rational mind is in shaping the life you want to create. As we conclude today's episode, remember that making things happen in your life is not about waiting for the perfect circumstances or relying on luck. It's about mastering the inner principles that give you control over your reactions, decisions, and actions. The Stoics taught us that true power lies in how we approach life, how we embrace our fate, how we focus on what we can control, and how we continuously strive for personal growth. By incorporating these 15 habits into your life, you build a foundation of emotional resilience, wisdom, and purposeful action. Each of these habits, whether it's embracing your fate, building inner peace, or practicing self-control, helps you shape your destiny, not by waiting for things to happen, but by actively creating the life you desire. Remember, life will always have its challenges, but with the right mindset, you can turn every obstacle into an opportunity for growth. You have the power to control your thoughts, to take purposeful action, and to remain focused on what truly matters. So start today. Pick one or two of these habits and implement them in your daily life. With each small step, you'll move closer to becoming the person you're meant to be. The person who not only makes things happen, but does so with purpose, clarity, and strength. Thank you for joining me today. If you found this episode helpful, be sure to like, share, and subscribe for more Stoic wisdom and practical strategies to live a fulfilled, empowered life. Keep cultivating these habits, and remember, you are the architect of your own fate. When someone rejects you, what's your first reaction? Do you feel the urge to explain yourself, to justify your actions, or maybe even to lash out in frustration? It's completely natural to want to fight back against rejection. But what if, instead of reacting with words or actions, you chose to stay silent? Let me tell you a story about Sarah. A few years ago, Sarah had poured her heart and soul into a business proposal she was confident about. She spent hours, days, and weeks crafting the perfect pitch, anticipating that this would be the opportunity that would take her career to the next level. But when the response came, it was a rejection. A polite one, but rejection nonetheless. Sarah was devastated. She felt the urge to immediately call and defend her ideas, to convince them that they were wrong. But then something within her shifted. Instead of reacting, she decided to stay silent. She didn't call, didn't argue. Instead, she sat in silence for a moment, reflecting on the feedback and the lesson she could learn. By embracing silence, she gave herself the space to process her emotions, regain her composure, and reflect on what really mattered. In that silence, she found strength and clarity. That moment of silence became a turning point for Sarah. It wasn't just a response to rejection, it was a practice in self-control and a tool for growth. She realized that silence had the power to protect her dignity and her peace, allowing her to rise above the sting of rejection and come out stronger. In today's episode, we're going to explore how silence, especially in moments of rejection, can be your most powerful tool. The Stoics, particularly Marcus Aurelius, understood that true strength lies not in reacting immediately, but in choosing how we respond to the challenges life throws at us. By staying silent after rejection, we create the space to reflect, grow, and regain our inner strength. So what happens when you choose silence after rejection? Let's explore the 10 powerful lessons from Stoicism on how silence can become your ally in those challenging moments, turning rejection into an opportunity for personal growth and inner peace. 1. Silence is your best tool to face rejection. Have you ever felt that immediate urge to speak up, defend yourself, or fight back after facing rejection? Whether it's in a personal relationship, a job interview, or any other scenario, rejection can make us feel small, misunderstood, or even wronged. It's a natural instinct to react, to explain ourselves, or to argue our point. But here's the powerful truth. Sometimes the best response to rejection is no response at all. In moments of rejection, silence can be your greatest ally. Instead of engaging in a back and forth or trying to justify your worth, silence allows you to pause, regain your composure, and protect your emotional peace. When you stay silent after rejection, you are not giving away your power to the situation. You're choosing to control your response and maintain your dignity. Think about the moments in your life when you've been rejected. What did you do afterward? Did you immediately try to convince the other person to change their mind? Did you let your emotions take over, possibly making the situation worse? Or in those rare moments, did you choose to remain silent and allow yourself to reflect? The Stoics, especially Marcus Aurelius, often wrote about the importance of responding to challenges with calm and composure. In his Meditations, Marcus wrote, "When you are troubled by external events, remember that it is not the event that disturbs you, but your judgment about it." What he's suggesting here is that rejection or any external event is only as powerful as the meaning we give it. When we react immediately, we allow the event to control us. But by choosing silence, we regain our power. Silence doesn't mean weakness. It doesn't mean you're avoiding the situation. It means you are choosing a thoughtful response over an emotional one. You're not surrendering your self-worth to the rejection. Instead, you're giving yourself the time and space to process the experience before deciding how to act. When you embrace silence after rejection, you prevent yourself from making decisions you may later regret. You create room to understand the rejection better, to learn from it, and most importantly, to protect your mental and emotional well-being. Instead of jumping into an emotional reaction, you take a step back and maintain your sense of self. By staying silent, you also send a powerful message to the person who rejected you. You're not desperate for validation, and you don't need to convince them of your worth. Your silence speaks volumes. It shows confidence, maturity, and strength. You don't need to justify yourself. You know your value, and you are content with who you are, regardless of external validation. So the next time you face rejection, remember the power of silence. Use it as your tool to regain composure, reflect, and respond with dignity. You'll be surprised by how much strength and clarity you can find in that quiet space. 2. Recognize your own worth through silence. In the face of rejection, it's easy to start doubting ourselves. We might think, if they don't want me, there must be something wrong with me. Our self-worth can get tangled up in how others perceive us or how we are treated. But here's the hard truth. Your worth is not defined by someone else's opinion of you, and silence is a powerful tool to remind yourself of that. When you stay silent after rejection, you create space to reconnect with your own value, independent of external judgment. www.muji.org gets a chance to step back, reflect, and remember that your worth doesn't come from approval or validation. It comes from within. Think about how often we tie our self-worth to external factors. How many times have you felt less than because of a rejection? Maybe it was a job offer that didn't come through, a relationship that didn't work out, or an idea that was shot down. These moments can feel like a personal attack, but the truth is, they don't define you. They only define that one moment or situation. By choosing silence, you give yourself the opportunity to detach from the emotional reaction to rejection. Instead of letting it consume you, you take a step back and ask, why, what is my true value apart from this moment? In those quiet moments, you can reconnect with your strengths, your achievements, and your unique qualities. This practice of recognizing your worth through silence is rooted in Stoic philosophy. The Stoics believed that external circumstances, including rejection, should not dictate how we feel about ourselves. Epictetus, a prominent Stoic, said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." In other words, rejection is a part of life, but your reaction to it is what shapes your sense of self. By staying silent after rejection, you give yourself the time to reflect and remind yourself that your worth is constant, regardless of what happens externally. You don't need others' approval to know who you are or to acknowledge your value. Rejection is just a moment in time. It doesn't define your worth. This doesn't mean you ignore the feedback or the lesson that might come with rejection. Instead, it means you take the time to process the situation without the weight of self-doubt. You separate your identity from the rejection itself and focus on the bigger picture of who you are and what you're capable of. So when rejection comes, instead of reacting in frustration or self-criticism, embrace the silence. Use it as an opportunity to reflect on your true worth. By taking this moment of stillness, you remind yourself that no one's opinion or action can ever diminish your value. Your worth is not tied to the outcome of a single event, and by recognizing this truth, you free yourself from the emotional turmoil that rejection often brings. Silence gives you the space to reconnect with your inner strength and reassert your self-worth, regardless of external circumstances. 3. Let your absence speak louder than words. When faced with rejection, we often feel the urge to explain ourselves, to defend our actions, or to prove our worth. We feel as though words are necessary to mend the situation, to clarify misunderstandings, or to change the other person's perception of us. But sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is say nothing at all. In fact, your silence can speak volumes louder than any words ever could. Think about it: when you stay silent after being rejected, you're letting your absence make the statement for you. There's a subtle power in walking away, in not scrambling for validation or attempting to explain yourself. By remaining silent, you let the other person feel the weight of your absence, and in doing so, you allow them to reflect on the impact of their actions. You don't need to justify yourself or engage in an endless back and forth. Your presence or lack thereof is enough of a response. This silence doesn't mean you're weak or passive. It's a deliberate, powerful choice. When you choose to stay silent, you're asserting your own boundaries, demonstrating that you won't beg for approval, that you won't chase after someone who doesn't see your value. Your absence becomes a reflection of your self-respect and your decision to protect your energy. In Stoic philosophy, the idea of letting actions speak louder than words is central. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, wrote about the importance of focusing on one's own behavior and not seeking validation from others. He said, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury." In other words, instead of retaliating or seeking justification, the best response is to remain true to your own principles and let your actions, and sometimes your silence, speak for you. When you remain silent, you take the power back from the situation. Instead of getting lost in a debate or a defensive posture, you choose to walk away with dignity. You don't need to explain, apologize, or make excuses for being yourself. You simply let the absence of your words reflect the fact that you recognize your own worth and will not lower yourself to beg for acceptance. This also creates space for the other person to process the situation. Rejection often causes discomfort for both parties involved. By not engaging in a prolonged conversation, you allow the other person to reflect on their actions without the noise of justification. Your silence can make them realize the weight of their decision without you needing to say a single word. It's a powerful form of self-respect. It shows that you are willing to walk away, to let go, rather than hold on to something that doesn't serve you. Your absence in this case is not a defeat. It is an assertion of your own self-worth. You are telling the world that you do not need to prove yourself or chase after approval. So next time you face rejection, consider how silence can be your ally. Let your absence be a powerful response that conveys strength, dignity, and self-respect. You don't always need words to express your value. Sometimes simply walking away, letting go, and allowing your silence to fill the space is the loudest message you can send. 4. Silence as a refuge for inner peace. In a world that's always moving, always demanding, silence can often feel like a luxury we can't afford. From the moment we wake up, we are bombarded with noise, emails, messages, phone calls, notifications. Even in the moments when we're not actively engaging with others, the mind races with thoughts, worries, and endless lists of things to do. This constant mental chatter can easily lead to stress, anxiety, and a sense of being overwhelmed. But here's the thing: silence doesn't just mean the absence of sound, it's the presence of inner peace. When you embrace silence, you create a safe haven, a space where you can reconnect with yourself, reset your mind, and protect your emotional well-being. In the aftermath of rejection, silence becomes even more crucial. It's the refuge that allows you to step away from external pressures and focus inwardly, finding calm and clarity amidst the storm of emotions. Stoic philosophers understood the importance of cultivating inner peace. For them, tranquility was a state of mind that could only be achieved by embracing silence and reflection. Epictetus, one of the leading Stoics, taught that we must be mindful of what we allow to disturb our peace. He said, "Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants." Similarly, inner peace doesn't come from external circumstances. It comes from reducing the noise and distractions around us and creating space to focus on what truly matters. When you choose silence after rejection, you create an emotional boundary that protects your peace. Instead of reacting impulsively, whether by arguing, defending yourself, or seeking validation, you give yourself the opportunity to process the rejection quietly. You don't let the outside world dictate your emotional state. You maintain control over your reactions, choosing to protect your mental clarity and emotional well-being. This doesn't mean ignoring your emotions. Silence isn't about bottling up what you feel. It's about allowing yourself the time and space to feel those emotions without being ruled by them. By embracing silence, you give yourself permission to sit with your feelings, reflect on them, and process them in a healthy, productive way. It's in this stillness that we find the strength to understand ourselves better and make decisions based on our values, rather than on fleeting emotions in practical terms. This could look like taking a moment in the morning to sit in stillness before starting your day. You could meditate, focus on your breathing, or simply reflect on your thoughts in a quiet space. This simple act of embracing silence helps you recalibrate, restore your energy, and start your day from a place of inner peace, not chaos. After rejection, the peace that comes from silence allows you to view the situation more clearly. Instead of letting anger, shame, or frustration control you, you create the space to regain your composure. Silence becomes a tool for emotional regulation, giving you the strength to decide how you'll respond, whether you'll choose to engage or simply let go. By making silence a refuge, you protect yourself from unnecessary stress and cultivate a deep, inner peace that can guide you through any challenge, rejection, or difficulty you face. It's the quiet space that allows you to be in control of your emotional responses and stay aligned with your true values. So when rejection strikes, remember the power of silence as a refuge. Take that moment to step back, regain your inner peace, and center yourself. In this space, you'll find the clarity and strength to move forward with dignity and confidence. 5. Use silence to reflect and grow. When rejection comes your way, it's easy to get lost in the rush of emotions that follow. Disappointment, frustration, sadness, these are all natural responses. But in those moments, silence becomes a powerful tool for reflection and growth. 5. Instead of reacting or allowing those negative emotions to take over, silence offers you the space to step back, gather your thoughts, and understand the situation from a more objective perspective. Think about the times you've been rejected. How many of those moments were followed by emotional reactions, impulsive decisions, or over-explaining yourself? The truth is, when we react impulsively, we often miss out on the opportunity to learn, grow, and become better from the experience. By embracing silence, you give yourself the gift of reflection, allowing you to process the rejection and understand what you can take from it. The Stoics, particularly Seneca, emphasized the importance of reflection in the face of adversity. Seneca wrote, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." This highlights the power of how we view our experiences. When we're caught up in the heat of the moment, rejection feels like a devastating blow. But through silence and reflection, we gain the perspective needed to see the situation clearly and identify the lessons we can learn. Instead of getting lost in self-pity or anger, use silence as an opportunity to reflect on the rejection. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this? What can I improve? What is the real reason for this rejection, and how can I grow from it? This kind of self-reflection helps you gain clarity, build resilience, and make better decisions in the future. It also allows you to view the rejection not as a failure, but as a stepping stone toward your personal growth. Silence also creates the mental space to look inward and evaluate your own actions and mindset. Sometimes rejection reveals areas of ourselves that need improvement, whether it's in our communication, our work ethic, or how we approach challenges. When we're caught up in a cycle of reacting and defending ourselves, we often miss the opportunity to evaluate and grow. Silence gives us the opportunity to pause, process, and come out stronger. This kind of reflection isn't just about identifying where we went wrong. It's also about recognizing our strengths, our resilience, and the things that we're doing right. It's easy to focus on the negative aspects of rejection, but reflection allows you to also recognize the positive progress you've made. You're learning, adapting, and moving forward, even in the face of rejection. So the next time you face rejection, remember the power of silence. Instead of reacting immediately, take a moment to reflect. Use the time to learn from the experience, evaluate what you can do better, and recognize how this rejection can ultimately make you stronger and more focused. With each moment of silence, you give yourself the opportunity to grow, not just from the rejection, but in every aspect of your life. 6. Silence as a teacher of self-control. Rejection can trigger a flood of emotions. Anger, frustration, self-doubt, these are all normal reactions when we feel hurt or overlooked. It's tempting in those moments to lash out, to defend ourselves, or to try and explain our worth. But what if the key to mastering rejection and life's challenges is not in reacting, but in exercising self-control through silence? Silence in this context is a powerful teacher of self-control. When you choose to remain silent in the face of rejection, you are not ignoring your feelings. You are choosing to control your reaction. Instead of letting your emotions dictate your response, you consciously decide to hold back, to pause, and to reflect before acting. This is the essence of emotional discipline. The Stoics believed that one of the greatest forms of strength is self-discipline, was the ability to control our emotions, especially in moments of adversity. Seneca, one of the most prominent Stoic philosophers, wrote, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." In other words, our emotional responses, our knee-jerk reactions, are often more damaging than the event itself. Our minds can amplify rejection, turning it into something far worse than it actually is. But silence provides us with the space to break that cycle, to step away from immediate reactions, and to regain control of our emotions. Think about how often we regret speaking or acting in the heat of the moment. How many times have we let a harsh word, an angry outburst, or a defensive remark cost us in the long run? Rejection can feel personal, but the way we choose to respond defines who we are and how we grow. By embracing silence, we practice self-control, and in doing so, we preserve our dignity and avoid unnecessary conflict. When you stay silent after rejection, you are demonstrating to yourself that you can remain calm and composed even when life doesn't go your way. You're learning to take a step back, assess the situation with clarity, and respond thoughtfully, not impulsively. Silence helps you avoid making decisions you might regret later, giving you the opportunity to think through your emotions and actions before taking the next step. This practice of self-control isn't about suppressing emotions. It's about mastering them. Silence teaches us that we don't need to react right away. We don't need to rush to defend ourselves or prove our worth. The space between rejection and our response is where growth happens. When we allow ourselves time to process, to reflect, and to calm our minds, we gain the self-control needed to respond with wisdom and dignity. So next time you face rejection, remember that silence isn't a passive choice, it's an active practice of self-control. It's the moment you decide not to let your emotions control you, but instead to choose how to respond thoughtfully and with strength. By mastering this skill, you're not only handling rejection better, but you're also building emotional resilience that will serve you in all areas of life. 7. The absence of words reveals the strength of your character. When rejection hits, the first instinct for many of us is to react, to explain, to justify, or to convince the other person of our worth. We think that our words will change their perspective, will make them see us differently. But sometimes the most powerful statement you can make is not through your words at all. Sometimes silence itself speaks louder than anything you could ever say. In moments of rejection, choosing silence can reveal the strength of your character. By not engaging in a defensive or emotional response, you show others, and more importantly yourself, that you don't need to justify your worth. Your silence demonstrates confidence, maturity, and inner strength. It's the silent response that often carries the most weight because it shows you are in control of your emotions, your actions, and your peace of mind. Think about the times when someone has lashed out at you or rejected you. What made the biggest impact on you in those moments? Was it their words, or was it your ability to remain calm, collected, and unbothered? Often it's not the words we speak, but the way we carry ourselves in those challenging moments that leaves a lasting impression. The Stoics understood the importance of maintaining one's dignity and composure, particularly in times of adversity. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, often wrote about the importance of showing strength through how we handle difficult situations. He said, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury." What he meant was that our true strength is shown in how we respond to adversity, not by seeking retribution, but by maintaining our principles and staying true to ourselves. Silence in the face of rejection can be a powerful assertion of your self-respect. By choosing not to react immediately, you refuse to let the rejection dictate your self-worth. You are affirming to yourself and to others that you don't need external validation to know who you are. Your strength comes from within, and that is what others will ultimately recognize. This is where the real power of silence lies. It's not about shutting down or ignoring the situation. It's about showing restraint, dignity, and confidence in your own value. When you don't need to justify yourself, you demonstrate that you are secure in who you are. The absence of words becomes your statement of strength. So when faced with rejection, remember that you don't need to respond with words. Your silence will often speak volumes, reflecting your ability to stay calm, composed, and confident in your own worth. And in that silence, you'll find strength and clarity that words could never convey. 8. Rejection as an opportunity to redefine your priorities. Rejection is never easy. Whether it's a job offer you were hoping for, a relationship that didn't work out, or an idea that didn't get the approval you expected, it often leaves us feeling deflated. But rejection is not the end of the road. It can actually be one of the most valuable opportunities you'll ever have to reassess and redefine your priorities. When we experience rejection, it's a signal. It forces us to stop and take a hard look at what we really want, what truly matters, and where we should be focusing our energy. It can reveal areas of our lives where we've been investing time and effort, only to realize that they may not align with our deeper values or long-term goals. The Stoics believed in the importance of constant self-reflection, especially when faced with challenges. Marcus Aurelius often wrote about the need to turn obstacles into opportunities for growth. He believed that everything, even rejection, could be viewed as a chance to refine our character and our actions. The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. This perspective turns rejection into a catalyst for re-evaluation and change. When you stay silent after rejection, you create the space to reflect on your priorities without the noise of emotional reactions clouding your judgment. In those moments of stillness, you can ask yourself, what is truly important to me? What should I be focusing my energy on? Am I chasing goals that are aligned with my deepest values? Or have I been distracted by external expectations? Rejection offers you a chance to clear away distractions and realign yourself with your true purpose. It forces you to look at what isn't working and ask yourself if you're focusing on the right things. In that silence, you have the opportunity to reset, to choose a new path, and to direct your energy toward what really matters. By embracing silence after rejection, you give yourself permission to step back and reassess without rushing into new decisions or reacting impulsively. You have time to let go of the need for validation and to reframe the situation as an opportunity for growth. Use this time to redefine your priorities and to ensure that you are focusing your energy on what will bring you true fulfillment. This act of reflection and realignment doesn't mean you abandon your goals or give up. It means you gain clarity on the path you need to take. Rejection is simply the universe's way of nudging you back to what really matters, helping you strip away distractions and refocus on your most meaningful pursuits. So when rejection comes, instead of feeling defeated, use that silence to reflect on your priorities. Let it be a chance to reevaluate what truly matters, to align your efforts with your deepest values, and to move forward with renewed purpose and clarity. 9. Don't seek validation. Find freedom in your silence. Rejection often leaves us searching for approval. We seek validation from others to reassure us that we are worthy, capable, and deserving. Whether it's trying to win back a relationship, get a job, or simply gain someone's approval, the need for validation can consume us. We may find ourselves seeking answers, explanations, or justifications, hoping that our worth will be recognized by someone else. But what if, instead of chasing after validation, you could find freedom in silence? The power of silence is that it frees you from the need for external approval. When you choose silence after rejection, you are no longer looking for someone else to affirm your worth. You stop seeking validation from others and instead turn inward to validate yourself. This shift is liberating. It's the moment you realize that your self-worth is not dependent on the opinions or approval of others. You are enough just as you are. In a world that constantly pushes us to seek external validation through likes on social media, promotions at work, or even approval in personal relationships, it's easy to fall into the trap of measuring our worth by what others think. But the Stoics understood that true freedom comes from within. Epictetus said, "Freedom is the only worthy goal in life. It is won by disregarding things that lie beyond our control." By choosing silence after rejection, you are taking back your freedom from the external world and claiming it for yourself. Silence allows you to stop chasing after the approval that only gives you temporary satisfaction. It empowers you to stop seeking constant validation and instead trust in your own judgment, your own worth. In those moments of quiet, you reclaim your sense of identity independent of others' opinions or expectations. This is where the true strength of silence lies. It teaches you to rely on yourself. When you no longer seek approval, you become free to make decisions that align with your own values and goals, rather than trying to meet the expectations of others. You can stand firm in your choices, knowing that they are right for you regardless of external feedback. The more you practice finding freedom in your silence, the more you will find peace. You will realize that you don't need to explain yourself, justify your actions, and/or seek permission from others to pursue your dreams. Silence becomes a tool for personal liberation, giving you the confidence to move forward without the burden of needing others to validate your worth. So the next time rejection comes your way, remember, you don't need validation from anyone else. Instead of speaking or seeking approval, turn to silence and find your freedom. In those moments of stillness, you'll discover your own strength, your own value, and the peace that comes with knowing you are enough, just as you are. 10. Silence as a statement of dignity and self-respect. Rejection can often make us feel small, invisible, or insignificant, leading us to question our own worth. In moments like these, it's natural to want to defend ourselves, to explain why we were right, or to seek an apology. But what if, instead of trying to prove our value, we let our silence speak for us? What if silence became a statement of dignity and self-respect? When we choose silence after rejection, we are not giving up or admitting defeat. On the contrary, we are asserting our dignity by refusing to lower ourselves to the level of unnecessary explanations or justifications. Silence is a powerful act of self-respect. It shows that we value ourselves enough not to engage in a dialogue that diminishes our worth or energy. Think about a moment in your life when you felt rejected. Perhaps it was a personal relationship, a professional setback, or a situation where you were overlooked or misunderstood. In those moments, how often did you feel the need to defend yourself, to explain, or to change someone's mind? How many times did you let the rejection consume your thoughts and emotions, trying to fix something that was beyond your control? Now, imagine how different that situation would have been if you had chosen silence. Instead of scrambling for approval or validation, you chose to remain composed, preserving your energy and protecting your sense of self-worth. Silence in this context becomes a way of saying, "I know my value and I don't need to convince anyone of it." It's a way of telling the world that you will not lower yourself to seek approval or justification from others. In Stoic philosophy, the idea of maintaining personal dignity and self-respect is paramount. Marcus Aurelius often wrote about the importance of upholding one's integrity, no matter the external circumstances. He said, "A man is not good because he has wealth, nor is he bad because he lacks it. It is the man's character that matters, and it is his behavior that defines him." In other words, it's not external rejection that defines who you are. It's how you carry yourself in response that reveals your true character. By staying silent, you show that your worth is not dependent on external validation. You refuse to engage in actions that might compromise your self-respect. Silence doesn't mean surrender. It means standing firm in your values, choosing not to react emotionally, and maintaining the strength of your character. This practice of silence becomes a form of self-protection. It helps you guard your dignity against the negative emotions rejection can trigger. It's a choice that puts your emotional well-being first, enabling you to process your feelings with grace and composure. So the next time rejection knocks at your door, remember that silence is not a weakness. It is a statement of strength. It is a declaration that you will not let rejection define you. You choose to uphold your dignity and self-respect, knowing that your worth is not contingent on someone else's opinion. By embracing silence, you make the most powerful statement of all. I am enough just as I am. As we wrap up today's episode, remember this. Rejection is a part of life. It's something we all face at one point or another. And while it can feel painful, it doesn't have to define us. In fact, rejection can become one of our greatest opportunities for growth. When we choose to respond with silence. Silence isn't about shutting down or avoiding feelings. It's about finding the strength to control our reactions and preserve our dignity. By embracing silence in the face of rejection, you allow yourself to reflect, to regain your inner peace, and to redefine your priorities. You take back your power and show the world that your worth is not dependent on anyone else's approval. The Stoics knew that the key to resilience lies in controlling how we react to life's challenges. Silence is one of the most powerful tools we have to maintain our composure, dignity, and self-respect. It allows us to grow, to reflect, and to find freedom from the need for validation. So the next time rejection comes your way, I encourage you to pause, to embrace silence, and to use that moment to reconnect with your inner strength. Am I letting external factors dictate my mood and behavior? This mindful awareness is a form of self-leadership because it puts you in control of your inner state, not the circumstances. Moreover, Stoic reflection fosters a sense of personal accountability. It reminds us that while we may not control external events, we have full control over our values and commitments. When you reflect on your actions and their alignment with Stoic virtues, such as wisdom, justice, courage, and moderation, you are effectively taking stock of your moral and ethical framework. This daily inventory helps ensure that you are living in a way that not only brings personal satisfaction, but also contributes positively to those around you. In practicing these reflections, we not only affirm our commitment to living virtuously, but also enhance our capability to lead ourselves with integrity. We become role models not by preaching virtues, but by practicing them. Each act of reflection deepens our understanding and our ability to apply Stoic principles to modern life. Embracing the long-term journey. As we wrap up our discussion today, it's important to remember that embracing the long-term journey of life is fundamental to practicing Stoicism. This philosophy isn't about quick fixes or instant gratification. It's about viewing each experience, challenge, and decision with a new perspective. As part of a broader narrative that shapes who we are and who we become, this perspective helps us see beyond the immediacy of our desires or discomforts, focusing instead on enduring principles and long-lasting fulfillment. Stoicism teaches us the value of patience and the importance of viewing life as a continuum, not a series of disconnected events. When we adopt this long-view philosophy, our daily hassles and hurdles begin to seem less daunting. This is because we're no longer just reacting to life as it happens. We're actively weaving a rich tapestry that represents our lived philosophy. Every thread, be it a challenge overcome or a lesson learned, adds depth and color to the overall picture. Consider how this approach transforms our understanding of success and failure. In the Stoic view, what matters isn't just the outcome, but the process, the manner in which we pursue our goals and handle setbacks. By focusing on the long term, we learn not to be overly elated by success or unduly discouraged by failure. Instead, we come to appreciate each step of our journey as an opportunity to practice virtue, to grow and to refine our character. This long-term journey also encourages us to remain humble and teachable. Stoicism doesn't claim to have all the answers, but instead offers tools to help us navigate life with wisdom and dignity. Embracing this journey means being open to learning, adapting and evolving as we gain more experiences. It's about recognizing that wisdom isn't static. It deepens and expands as we continue to engage with the world and reflect on our interactions. Moreover, embracing the long-term journey aligns with the Stoic practice of focusing on what we can control and letting go of what we cannot. This isn't about resignation, but about empowerment. It frees us from the unnecessary stress of trying to control the uncontrollable and allows us to invest our energy in actions and attitudes that truly enrich our lives and the lives of those around us. In practical terms, this might mean choosing to invest time in relationships that are nurturing and supportive, pursuing careers that align with our values, or dedicating ourselves to causes that we believe in. Each choice is a brick in the foundation of a life well lived, a life that reflects our deepest convictions and highest aspirations. Thank you all for joining me today in exploring these Stoic principles. Remember, the journey is long, but each step is a chance to reinforce who we are and what we stand for. By adopting a Stoic mindset, we learn not only to withstand the trials of life, but to approach them in a way that enhances our understanding of ourselves and our capabilities. Habit 3. The power of choice. Now that we understand that our emotions stem from our judgments and not the events themselves, let's delve into the profound Stoic principle of choice. This isn't about choosing what happens to us, that's often beyond our control, but choosing our response. And believe it or not, in that choice lies our freedom and power. The Stoics teach us that between the stimulus and the response there is a space. In this space lies our power to choose our response. This idea is incredibly empowering. It means that no matter what life throws at us, we have the last say on how we respond. Whether it's a rude comment, a financial setback, or a personal loss, our emotional response is ours to choose. Think about it this way. Life is like a complex dance. Events come at us in quick succession, and our emotions can react just as quickly. But like a skilled dancer who decides which steps to take on the dance floor, we can choose how to move with, around, or away from our emotional impulses. This doesn't mean ignoring our feelings. Rather, it's about acknowledging them and deciding the best course of action that aligns with our values and long-term goals. The key to making this practical is to develop what the Stoics called prososi, or mindful attention. It's about being aware in the present moment, recognizing our emotional triggers as they arise, and consciously deciding how we'll respond. By practicing mindfulness, we can widen that space between stimulus and response, giving us the time to choose our actions wisely. This power of choice is what enabled Stoic philosophers like Seneca to remain tranquil in times of extreme stress. Seneca suggested that we should rehearse worst-case scenarios in our minds, not to dwell on them, but to diminish the intensity of our reactions when faced with actual challenges. By doing so, we become less reactive and more responsive. Moreover, embracing this Stoic approach helps us build resilience. Resilience doesn't come from avoiding challenges, but from facing them with clarity and determination. Every time we choose a response that keeps us aligned with our goals, we strengthen our ability to handle future challenges more effectively. Habit 4. Techniques for action over emotion. As we delve deeper into the Stoic practice, it becomes clear that knowing you have a choice isn't enough. You need effective strategies to exercise that choice wisely. Here are some time-tested techniques drawn from Stoic wisdom that can help you choose your actions over your emotions, turning potential turmoil into triumph. One pivotal technique involves the simple yet powerful act of pausing when an emotion flares up. Imagine you're in a heated discussion. Instead of immediately reacting, give yourself a moment. This pause is a buffer, giving your rational mind time to wake up and process the situation. During this brief interlude, you can assess the emotion. Is it anger? Frustration? Fear? Acknowledging what you feel can diminish its overwhelming power, allowing you to respond rather than react. Another Stoic strategy is to reframe your thoughts about the situation. This cognitive reframing involves shifting your perspective to see the event differently. If someone cuts you off in traffic, instead of getting angry and assuming malicious intent, you might consider other explanations. Perhaps they are rushing to an emergency. Changing your narrative about the event can change your emotional response to it, helping you maintain your composure and perhaps even empathize with the other person. Values-based decision-making is another cornerstone of Stoic practice. Here you make decisions based on your core values, not fleeting emotions. Ask yourself, does reacting with anger align with my values? What would the best version of myself do in this situation? By aligning your actions with your values, you ensure that your responses contribute to the person you aspire to be, rather than a momentary emotional state. Emotional acceptance is crucial too. This doesn't mean resigning yourself to feeling bad. It means accepting that you're feeling a certain way without judgment or immediate reaction. Acceptance allows you to understand your emotions better and manage them proactively. It's like observing the clouds as they pass by in the sky. Notice them, but don't get carried away by the storm. Each of these techniques isn't just about handling a particular emotional moment. They are about cultivating a life where you consistently choose actions that reflect your rational and reasoned decisions. Practicing these techniques regularly can turn them into habits, fundamentally changing how you interact with your emotions and the world. As you integrate these practices into your daily life, you'll find that not only do your emotional responses become more balanced, but your overall sense of well-being improves, allowing you to live more fully in alignment with your Stoic principles. Habit 5. Benefits of choosing actions over emotions. When we choose our actions consciously, aligning them with rational thought rather than fleeting emotions, we cultivate an inner stability that is apparent to those around us. This stability makes us more reliable and trustworthy. In personal relationships, this can deepen bonds as loved ones see us as pillars of strength, capable of supporting them emotionally, rather than reacting impulsively to stressful situations. It means that in times of conflict or tension, instead of escalating the situation with emotional reactions, we contribute to resolving it, enhancing the quality and depth of our connections. Professionally, the ability to stay calm and collected under pressure is invaluable. In the workplace, emotions can run high, but the capacity to maintain composure sets leaders apart. This isn't about suppressing emotions, but rather managing responses in a way that is considered and constructive. Decisions made in this state are typically more strategic and thoughtful, leading to better outcomes and demonstrating a level of leadership that is respected and often emulated. Furthermore, choosing actions over emotions leads to personal resilience and mental toughness. The Stoics believed that our greatest trials are opportunities for growth. By facing challenges with a calm and composed demeanor, we train ourselves to handle future stresses with greater ease. This resilience can dramatically improve our overall well-being, reducing feelings of anxiety and depression, and increasing our life satisfaction. Essentially, we're not just reacting to life's challenges, we're actively shaping our journey through them. Another significant benefit is the development of self-awareness and self-regulation. These skills allow us to understand our emotional triggers and effectively manage them. This awareness then extends beyond ourselves, improving our empathy and understanding of others' emotions. With this enhanced perception, we can navigate social interactions more skillfully, adapting our responses to suit different situations and personalities. The practice of choosing actions over emotions equips us with tools not just to survive in our world, but to thrive. By embodying the principles of Stoicism, we don't just go through life. We grow through life, continually improving ourselves and positively impacting those around us. Habit 6. Overcoming challenges. Mastering your emotions and consistently choosing rational actions over impulsive reactions is no small feat. It's a profound challenge that requires dedication, patience, and resilience. In this journey, as Stoicism teaches us, we encounter numerous obstacles that test our resolve and our ability to apply philosophical principles to real-life situations. One of the first challenges many of us face is the intensity and immediacy of our emotional reactions. Emotions are powerful and can overwhelm even the most dedicated practitioners of Stoicism. They can surge quickly and unexpectedly, driven by deep-seated habits and instincts that have been reinforced over a lifetime. The key to overcoming this challenge isn't to suppress these emotions, but to acknowledge their presence without allowing them to dictate our actions. This requires a high level of self-awareness and the ability to pause and reflect in the heat of the moment, a skill that is cultivated through consistent practice and mindfulness. Another significant challenge is maintaining consistency in applying Stoic practices. It's one thing to remain calm and composed in a controlled environment, but it's entirely another to do so under stress in the face of adversity or during an unexpected crisis. The Stoic practice of Premeditatio Malorum, which involves visualizing and mentally preparing for potential difficulties, can be incredibly helpful here. This exercise strengthens our mental resilience by familiarizing us with adversity before it occurs, reducing the shock and discomfort when challenging situations inevitably arise. Furthermore, there's the challenge of skepticism, both internal and external. Internally, you might doubt whether Stoic principles can truly make a difference in the face of real-world problems. Externally, peers or societal norms might question or undervalue the importance of emotional regulation, viewing it as unnecessary or overly philosophical. Overcoming this skepticism involves demonstrating the practical benefits of Stoic practices, not only through words but through actions. As we embody the calm, rational, and resilient traits promoted by Stoicism, the effectiveness of these practices becomes apparent, not only to ourselves but also to others. Lastly, integrating Stoic practices into daily life poses its own set of challenges. The modern world is fast-paced and often emphasizes quick reactions and emotional expressions. To counter this, setting aside time each day for reflection, such as journaling or meditative practices, can anchor us in Stoic principles. This daily commitment turns abstract concepts into tangible actions, gradually weaving Stoicism into the fabric of our everyday lives. Overcoming these challenges requires a robust commitment to self-improvement and a deep understanding of Stoic philosophy. It's about embracing the process, knowing that each obstacle is an opportunity to practice and strengthen our Stoic virtues. By steadfastly applying these principles, we not only overcome the challenges, but also grow stronger and more capable with each step forward. Habit 7. Real-life applications. Consider a typical scenario at work. You've put your heart into a project, but during the presentation, a colleague interrupts with criticism that seems unfair. The immediate impulse might be to defend your work aggressively, allowing irritation or anger to dictate your response. However, applying Stoic principles, you could take a moment to pause, acknowledging your initial emotional response without acting on it. Instead of snapping back, you might then choose to address the criticism calmly, asking for specific feedback that could improve the project. This approach not only preserves professional relationships, but also enhances your reputation as someone who is composed and receptive to feedback, even under stress. Now imagine a personal situation such as a conflict with a partner or family member. Emotions can quickly escalate in familial settings, turning minor misunderstandings into major conflicts. A Stoic approach would involve recognizing the emotional triggers as they arise and consciously choosing to respond with understanding rather than reactivity. This might mean taking time to listen actively to the other person's concerns without immediately reacting or trying to solve the problem. Such a response promotes dialogue and understanding, helping to resolve conflicts in a way that strengthens relationships rather than weakening them. In another aspect of personal development, consider the challenge of self-discipline, such as maintaining a fitness routine or a diet. It's easy to give in to momentary impulses, skipping a workout because you feel tired or indulging in an unhealthy snack. Stoicism teaches us to focus on our long-term goals and values rather than short-term comforts. By applying Stoic discipline, you can remind yourself of the reasons behind your choices, reinforcing your willpower to act in accordance with your greater good rather than momentary desires. Moreover, Stoicism can profoundly impact our overall resilience and mental health. In times of crisis or sorrow, such as during a financial setback or the loss of a loved one, the Stoic practice of focusing on what we can control, our responses, our values, our actions, becomes invaluable. While it's natural to feel grief or stress, Stoicism helps us navigate these emotions without letting them overwhelm us.